way we will get that done.
No new wars. I'm done with the military-industrial complex.
None of us want new wars. None of us want new wars.
Where's the money coming from? Read off on LinkedIn. We know where your money's coming from, JB. We know. And we're sick of the wars. We want America first. When the Russians get back, in your wars. Done.
Nikki, don't lose that number. Nikki Haley, Joel Osment. Nikki Haley, Joel Osment, we call her. 6 cents. Remember that one? I see dead people.
Yeah, that's what voters will say if they see you and Joe on the ballot.
Oh, that's not very nice, Nikki. It's not nice. And I'm always very nice to you, except when I'm implying you weren't born in this country. Even though you're from South Carolina, and now I'm going to beat you in your state.
Several days later.
Meanwhile, after facing virtually no opposition, President Joe Biden easily won the Nevada Democratic primary last night, putting him one step closer to formally securing the party's nomination for an expected rematch this fall against Donald Trump. Challenger Congressman Dean Phillips entered the race too late to even get on the state's ballot, leaving Marianne Williamson as the only other candidate in the contest. The next Democratic primary is scheduled for February 27th in Michigan. Meanwhile, it was a disappointing night in Nevada for Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley. The former South Carolina governor finished behind none of these candidates. That was the choice. None of these candidates in the presidential primary, in which Trump didn't even bother to participate. The outcome in Nevada is now Haley's third consecutive loss in an early state primary contest. Still, her campaign says her results in Nevada won't affect how long she stays in the race, with her focus now aimed at South Carolina and beyond. Trump wasn't on the same ballot as Haley, since he's opted to compete in the Nevada caucuses instead, which are set to take place tomorrow, and puts him on the path to claim all of the state's 26 delegates. The Haley team has been consistent in saying Trump basically rigged the outcome in Nevada and they barely participated. Still, another loss, but one that's probably not going to matter much in the trajectory of the race.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What an embarrassing night for Nikki Haley in Nevada, because she quite literally lost to none of these candidates, as Trump wasn't even on the ballot. And despite the fact that Trump wasn't on the ballot in the Nevada primary, Nikki Haley still got her butt whooped, okay? She still got spanked, okay? Got embarrassed, okay? Over 60% of voters say, you know what? We'd rather go with none of these candidates instead of vote for Nikki Haley. Now, Nevada is going to hold a caucus tonight because they've changed up their structure, and Nikki Haley participating in the primary basically disqualifies her from participating in the caucus, in which the delegates will be rewarded based off caucus results. So we know that Trump's going to win Nevada overwhelmingly, but Nikki Haley deciding to participate in the primary and losing like that is extremely embarrassing for her, okay? Because, again, Trump wasn't even on the ballot, and she still lost, okay? I mean, lost in a really bad way. So, with that being said, I want to react to a news clip so you guys can get a better understanding of kind of what's going on with Nikki Haley, what happened in Nevada, and what are we looking forward to moving forward into the future, because Nikki Haley is deciding to stay in the race even though there is no real path towards victory, okay? I feel like she likes being humiliated, okay? That's something that could be a fetish for her. Who knows? I mean, that's kind of what it seems like at this point. So without further ado, I want to go ahead and get into this clip here so we can get a better understanding of Nikki Haley and her embarrassment that happened in Nevada and her path forward.
In Your Voice, Your Vote, the next state on the primary election calendar is Nevada. Joe Biden is the projected winner for Democrats, but when it comes to the Republican nomination for president, Nevada has a caucus and a primary. And the Verify team can confirm the state-run primary in Nevada does not count towards the race for the Republican nomination. Only the party-run caucus coming up on Thursday. Not only that, but the Nevada GOP decided that any candidate who signs up to run in the primary cannot run in the caucus. This year, Donald Trump did not sign up for the primary, which means his name will only appear on the caucus ballots. But his main opponent, Nikki Haley, did sign up for the primary, meaning she's disqualified from the caucus and cannot win any of Nevada's delegates. And that's not all. The Associated Press reports the none of these candidates wins option on the ballot has passed. which means Haley loses the primary. Nevada gives voters the option of choosing, quote, none of these candidates, and that's exactly what they chose.
Wow. Wow. Again, how embarrassing is this? Okay, I don't know why she decided to sign up for the primary instead of just doing the caucus. Okay, maybe she felt like she was making a statement about the fact that the Nevada GOP, which is very Trump-friendly, decided to essentially go with a system that is more friendly towards Trump. She claims that they're rigging it, right? That it's rigged. When, again, she could have just signed up for the caucus, okay? And, she could have actually tried to compete, but she signed up for the primary. And I think maybe she thought that, okay, well, if I win the primary, I can make the argument that, hey, look, I actually really won a state, even though the caucus is the only election or result that counts. I still won the primary. So therefore, it's rigged against me, right? They're trying to rig it against me. Trump is a part of the deep state. He's a part of the establishment. I think that's probably what she was going for. And it just backfired because even in a contest in which you would think that Nikki Haley would win, Trump is not even on the ballot. She still just got destroyed, right? People was like, nah, I don't want any of these people, right? I want Trump, right? So none of these people were basically Trump, right? That's basically what people voted for. Even though Nikki Haley was claiming that it's rigged, right? So again, it's just funny how that works.
It all comes on the same day former President Donald Trump received a major court decision. A 3-judge panel decided he is not immune from federal charges in the January 6th election interference case.
Now, this is a big deal, okay? I'm going to explain to you guys why it's a big deal, because up until this point, it seems as if most of these cases against Trump were going to be pushed back. The trials are going to be pushed back until after the election, okay? Which means that they're not going to be able to get a conviction before the election. And this is important because a lot of the polls do indicate that if Trump is convicted, then people are going to change their mind about voting for him, okay? In most polls in which they say, well, Trump is convicted, would you vote for Trump or Joe Biden? Biden is winning those polls. Now, again, do we know if that's actually true? We don't know. I personally think, considering how they've thrown literally the kitchen sink at Trump at this point, I don't think a conviction is really going to change people's minds. If anything, it might backfire and make Trump even stronger because, again, up until this point, literally nothing has worked against him. Every single attack against Trump has made him stronger. So I'm not sure how a conviction is going to weaken Trump, but that's what the polls indicate. So again, this is a big deal, and I think this is part of the reason why Nikki Haley's staying in the race.
The president has to have immunity.
The 3-judge panel unanimously ruling former President Trump has become Citizen Trump. Any executive immunity that may have protected him while he served as president no longer protects him against this prosecution. We cannot accept that the office of the presidency places its former occupants above the law for all time thereafter. Trump's lawyer arguing a president cannot be charged unless he's first impeached and convicted by Congress.
Could a president who ordered SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival who was not impeached, would he be subject to criminal prosecution?
If he were impeached and convicted first. And
so your answer is no.
But the court was blunt. We cannot accept former President Trump's claim that a president has unbounded authority to commit crimes. The judges also taking aim at the serious nature of the charges Trump faces, writing former President Trump's alleged efforts to remain in power despite losing the 2020 election were, if proven, an unprecedented assault on the structure of our government.
Yeah, so that being said, they're going to appeal this to the Supreme Court, okay? And the reason why they're going through this process is not because they actually believe that the courts are going to grant the president immunity, okay? I don't think they actually really believe they're going to win that argument. I think what it is, it's a delay tactic, right? It's a move designed to delay the Jack Smith trial to at least after the election, at which that point, Trump is not convicted going into the election. And then if he wins, he can pardon himself, right? Which, again, is also a legal issue, okay, about whether or not the president can actually pardon himself. But I believe that he should be able to. But again, there will be a whole legal battle over that. But regardless, that's what they're really trying to do, okay? They're trying to delay. So it's really no surprise that this is the ruling that came. But they're going to appeal it to the Supreme Court. We're going to see how fast the Supreme Court decides to take up the case. How fast they decide to take up the case is going to determine how quickly Jack Smith can actually start the trial against Trump, how fast that trial can start, and whether or not they'll be able to get a conviction before the election. But yes, that happening is definitely bad news for Trump because it does put that back into play in regards to that trial happening before the election and them possibly getting a conviction before the election, which could hurt Trump going into the election. I think that's part of the reason why Nikki Haley is still in the race, because that's what they're counting on, right? That's what they're banking on, okay? So in the meantime, though, Nikki Haley, who, again, is getting embarrassed in the GOP primary, is coping, right? She's coping. She took to X this morning to say Republicans keep doing the same thing and getting the same result. Chaos. That's the definition of insanity. Well, I think that you can apply this logic and reasoning to your campaign, right? Nikki Haley keeps doing the same thing over and over and over again, and she's getting the same result, okay? It doesn't matter if you go on SNL, doesn't matter if you go on CNN, doesn't matter how many mainstream liberal media interviews that you do, bashing and trashing Trump, you're still losing, right? You're still losing. Again, so I think that she's only in the race, really, because she is trying to wait to see what happens with Trump in court and to try to be there at the RNC in order to try to take the nomination away from Trump if Trump gets convicted or is thrown in jail or something crazy happens that is unprecedented. So she says this week the RNC imploded. You had Ronald McDaniels come out and say that she's going to resign, which is a great thing. They should replace her with Scott Pressler. I think he's earned it. He puts in hard work every single day, getting GOP voters registered to vote, actually doing the real work on the ground that the RNC should be doing. But instead, they're, running around spending millions of dollars, flying in jets and eating nice dinners and smoozing around with rich people and stuff like that. Instead of actually getting the grassroots engaged. So I think she definitely deserved to be fired. I hope Trump makes a better decision about who is going to be in that position moving forward. The GOP House can't pass anything. Trump lost another court case and threw another temper tantrum. A vote for Trump is a vote for more chaos. Yeah, so anyways, Nikki Haley is coping here because, again, the writing's on the wall. If you look at the polls heading into South Carolina, it's been a few weeks since the Iowa caucuses and the New Hampshire primary in which Nikki Haley, she's not really closing the gap too much, okay? I mean, she has, gotten some momentum in South Carolina a little bit, but she's still 30 points behind, right? More than 30 points behind Trump in her state, her home state, where she has the best shot of winning, okay? If she doesn't win South Carolina, there is no state that she will be able to win. So with that being said, there is no path forward for Nikki Haley outside of something happening to Trump to take him out of the race, which I believe that's what she's banking on. And that's why she's remaining in the race and not dropping out, despite the reality that GOP voters don't want her, right? They are rejecting her thoroughly, but she's remaining in the race regardless. So with that being said, we'll see how long Nikki Haley actually stays in the race. Does she wants to continue to get humiliated because she thinks that Trump eventually is going to be forced out of the race? That's probably what's going on here, but we'll see. Again, you would think after South Carolina that she would drop out and call it quits if she actually really does care about the Republican Party and beating Democrats. But if she, stays in the race, continues to force Trump to use campaign funds to campaign against her instead of focusing on a general election and beating Biden, it tells you everything you need to know about where her loyalties actually lie. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.